This video is a little bit of reverse psychology. Basically, if you want to live a life here in Italy that is absolutely miserable, pretty much like what some people will tell you life is like here, then this is the video for you. And if you don't, then you are not going to want to do any of what I'm about to share with you. The first thing you're going to want to do if you want your life to be really miserable here in Italy is that you're going to want to start venturing into expat communities, and you're going to want to start asking questions and really getting sucked up into the opinions and thoughts of other people. Expat communities are great ways for you to very quickly fall out of love with Italy because they are full of people who have so much to say about this country, 90% of which is often negative. They are also full of judgment as well. If you want to express something that you want to do and you want to be faced with criticism, this is the place that you're going to want to go. So I really think if you want to lead a miserable life here, this is where you've got to start your journey. You've got to start with those expat communities. Now, you will find glimmers of positivity indeed, but there is an underlying sense of negativity in these groups. Plus, you will also discover that a lot of these groups are run like businesses, and any recommendations and referrals are often paid recommendations and referrals and not necessarily reflective of the quality of work that you will receive. So, if you want to run the risk of having a shoddy builder or somebody come and do some work for you who isn't up to scratch, you might very well find them in these expat communities. The second thing you're going to want to do if you want to lead a miserable life here in Italy is you're going to want to start comparing. You are going to want to compare every single aspect of your life here. That's right. You're going to want to be looking at the cost of things. Maybe this could be a good comparison depending on what country you come from, but you're going to want to compare everything: the cost of things, the cleanliness of the city, the organisation, the infrastructure, the way that the country is on a whole, the political landscape, the way of life here in this country. You need to dive deep with this, and you're going to want to draw direct comparisons wherever possible, and especially when it comes to work. This is a good one if you want to feel miserable. You've got to be comparing the working culture here in Italy to where you're from, because for sure there's going to be a difference in pay, there's going to be a difference in conditions, there's going to be a difference in contracts, and all of that is going to help you to feel pretty shitty. So I really think this is what you need to do. You need to do this direct comparison between your country and Italy, because nothing is more likely to make you feel terrible than sitting down and actually thinking about those good old days and those things that you once took for granted but you no longer have access to. So this is why you're going to want to do this comparison at every given opportunity. Third thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start complaining. That's right, to anybody who will listen, be it friends, family, expat communities, whoever it may be. You are going to want to start vocalizing your opinions about this country, because we all know it, don't we? Negativity loves company. And so if you can find other people who are also struggling here or finding things difficult here, you can bond over those shared negative experiences, and in a way then help yourself to feel better over how terrible you're all feeling. So you are really going to want to complain. Whenever anybody wants to talk about how positive life can be here sometimes, you are going to want to shout them down and tell them all your negative experiences. When somebody delivers a video on YouTube that shares the positive and negative aspects, you are going to want to slate that person and tell them that they do not know what they are talking about. Essentially, you are going to want to make sure that everybody knows just how terrible life is here at any given moment that you have. And so this is what you're going to need to do to continue to make yourself feel pretty terrible. You're then going to want to consider isolating yourself. This means not really making an effort with the local community, not really going out to explore new places, but essentially creating your own bubble. And this bubble could be really yourself, your family unit if you've moved with one, or even other fellow expats. There are lots of expat communities that live in different parts of Italy that tend to stick to themselves. And so you can create this elitist bubble and make yourself feel better in a way, because you're not having to mix with the locals. This is a surefire way to help you to live miserably here in Italy, because you're never going to have to experience Italian culture. 9 times out of 10, you'll keep your life as close to how you used to know it as possible, apart from the obvious things that you cannot change. And you're going to keep yourself, in a way, feeling a little bit above those around you. So, it's a great way for you to feel disconnected from society and disconnected from your experience, because essentially you are trying to replicate your life as you knew it, but here in Italy in totally different surroundings. And then, of course, this is a biggie. You are not going to want to learn the language. That's right. Why would you need to learn Italian if you want to live miserably here? The best way to be miserable is to not be able to communicate, to sit in silence at conversations, to not be able to express yourself properly, to have people talking all around you and all you hear is noise. Yep, this is a great way to have you feeling absolutely terrible. Just don't bother to learn it. I mean, who's got time anyway, right? We all have commitments, we all have responsibilities, and it's not easy to learn Italian, so why should you bother? And, in this way, you can continue to live your life in this sorry, sad existence and continue to feel worse as each day progresses, when even the most basic activities become super difficult because you are not able to express yourself and to do the things that you would very easily do without thinking back in your own country. You're also going to want to question your decision every single waking moment. Why did you decide to move to Italy? Why were you stupid enough to make this decision? What benefit did you honestly think it was going to bring you? These are the questions that you need to be repeating every single moment that you can, just to reinforce the fact that probably this was one of the worst decisions that you could have made. Because you see, when you're here, you will see beautiful moments, but because you want to live miserably, you're going to ignore those in favour of questioning your decision to move here in the first place, because you've dealt with so many challenges that it's become way too difficult for you to see the beauty. And so you've got to keep reminding yourself, of what a terrible decision you've made. You've got to keep beating up on yourself, maybe even blaming other people if they inspired you to make this decision. I mean, it's easier sometimes to not take personal responsibility for what we decide to do. These are the things you've got to keep doing if you want to live a miserable existence here in Italy. You're also going to not want to adapt your life. That's right. I've touched on this before, but you're going to want to try to keep your life as close to what you're used to as possible. So this means that you're not going to be adventurous when it comes to eating different cuisine. This means you're even going to try and source the food that you absolutely love from your country here in Italy. This means that you are not willing to experiment and try new dishes and actually learn what the local people eat. You are going to want to bring your culture right here into Italy and leave it here, and not be influenced or learn from what is currently around you. This is for sure going to help you to feel miserable, because it's not going to be easy for you to locate the exact food that you're used to here in Italy. It's probably going to be expensive if you're able to do so. And it's not going to be easy to go out and enjoy the food that you're used to here in the restaurants in Italy, because there is a different cuisine here. And so, you've got to get used to it. It's not going to be easy for you to have dinner as early as you might be used to, or be able to live your life to the same structure when shops and services close for a couple of hours in the afternoon here in the south of Italy especially. So there are going to be stumbling blocks with this. You are going to find it difficult, which is why it's so important for you to try to keep your life as you are used to, because you've got to keep yourself feeling miserable. You see, you can't allow yourself the ability to start adapting, because then, God forbid, you actually might start enjoying living in this country. And then you see, if you don't want to experience any of these things, if you actually want to experience joy in Italy, you want to make sure that you don't do any of what I've just mentioned in this video. Because the problem is, a lot of expats do come here and fall into some of the traps that I've just spoken about. And then they wonder why they feel miserable and why they are no longer enjoying the experience. You need to open yourself up and get ready for a whole new adventure. And, this channel is here to help you with that. I've got lots of content on this channel sharing with you the reality of life here. That's good and bad, to give you the balance. And there are plenty of other content creators that will share with you their experiences in Italy. But you've got to open yourself up to this new experience, and you've got to know that you are not going to stay the same person the entire time. And, if you want to not change, and you don't want to have new experiences, and you don't want to kind of grow and evolve, then maybe this is the decision that you shouldn't be making, and you would be better off staying in your own country. Because really and truly, if you want to enjoy your experience, you have to be open to doing things differently. And so I really hope that if you plan to move to Italy, this is something that you too are able to do. I'll see you in the next video.